Hey everyone, I'm back with our 8th word of the 2013 hurricane names. This one is Umberto. Now I found several interesting things, so this video is probably just going to be about this one name. Here you see, I found the meaning of the name Umberto is famous giant. Okay. This took me in several directions, so just bear with me as I try to explain. There was another meaning that I felt God wanted me to include in this. And here we see it's about the name Umberto, or Umberto. And it says this name means big and bright. Okay, and here again we see Umberto means bright. And here again we see the name Umberto means famous giant. Okay. When I did a search on famous giant, this is what I come up with. It says arguably the most famous of all giants, Goliath, was a massive Philistine warrior who faced off against the Israelite army. Okay, I wanted to get just a little more information on that, and here I found Goliath was a famous giant from the Philistine city of Gath. We're going to look into that as well. God led me to understand that what I would find on Gath would be important. And here is something else. The Lord keeps showing me 40 days. He's trying to show me something with 40 days. I feel like he's leading me in a direction with that, but I'm not quite ready to present. I'm going to have to pray more on that. But right now, let's just stick to these names. There's so many things I could get into with what God's showing me in some of these things. But anyway, we see that Goliath, again, was the giant from Gath. And for 40 days, he openly defiled the armies of Israel. Okay, I find that quite interesting because he came against Israel, and it was a 40-day trial of sorts. And then we see that David stepped up, and he had the faith that it took to defeat this giant that was coming against Israel. Okay, let's move on just a little bit here. When I looked into Gath, the main thing I found was that it means wine press. Okay, I saw that. Let's see. There's another place. Right there it is. Gath. Wine press. And then we see it right here as well. It's also a common place. Gath is a place, okay? Because Goliath was from Gath. Commonplace name in ancient Israel. And I tell you, I found so much stuff on this, I don't know what direction to take it in. Just bear with me a minute here. Okay, we see, let me come back down here to my paper. We see here that it means famous giant. And of course, Goliath is the famous giant of the Old Testament. Well, when we get into information about the Old Testament giants, we also are getting into the Nephilim, okay? And many of us are aware that what is referred to as UFOs and aliens is nothing but the demons of Satan that will bring a strong delusion to the people I can sit here and talk all day on that, but I'm just going to say that and leave it at that, because here again we're getting into where it's talking about giants. We're getting into information about the Nephilim. Now, I will tell you that in Genesis 6 and Numbers 13 and in 2 Samuel 21:16, there you go, you'll find information about giants in the Old Testament. And there's a lot of information in the Old Testament about giants. And God showed me years ago, and I won't get into explanation on that, but He showed me years ago that the UFOs, the aliens, so-called, whatever, that they are the demons, and they will come and present themselves as aliens, beings from other planets, to perpetuate a delusion upon the people. That is one thing I feel like this is pointing out. But we're also looking at Gath. Okay, well, let's go back to Gath. Gath here, let's get back up here where I can show you. See, city of Gath. We'll go into, okay, I already showed you this, where it means winepress. Now, when we look up winepress in the Bible, now I just did a New Testament search on that. In Revelations chapter 14, verses 19 and 20, we see that the winepress is connected with, right here we see it, winepress of the wrath of God. So the winepress represents the wrath of God. And you can see in both verses here that it refers to that in verse 19 and in verse 20. So, and you know, I could do a whole nother video on that, or 2 or 3. But right now I'm just pointing out what these things are alluding to. So here with this name, we see it alludes to the winepress, which is about the wrath of God. And we see that it alludes to giants in the Bible, which I feel like from a spiritual standpoint in these last days is alluding to the Nephilim, and the delusion that will be perpetuated on the people by this lie about aliens and life from another planet. Let me see what I've got here. Yes. Okay, let's get back to where I found the meaning big and bright. And I also found the word shining, and I didn't save that site. But also, we see with this name Umberto, we see big and shining. And the things I want to point out about that is, excuse me, sorry about that. In Revelations 22, it says, I have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the church. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star. Okay, that's, of course, is speaking of Christ. And here we see he's referred to as the bright and morning star, which we would consider big and bright. I also wanted to point out the word shining in the scripture. I was trying to see if I had it marked. I believe that was in Luke that I wanted. Yes, it says in Luke 17:24, for as the lightning that lighteth out of one part under heaven shineth unto the other part under heaven, so also shall the Son of Man be in his day. So that tells us that Christ will shine with a big brightness. Another thing that came to my mind was this comet Ison. Now, I don't know if there's a connection here, but I did want to just throw that out there because they are saying that it will be, bright as the moon or brighter than the moon. But the main focus here is on what I feel the scriptures are telling us. These names versus what I feel led by the Lord, he is trying to indicate with these names. And I do feel that we're looking at the giants of the Bible and what they represent in these last days, which would be the lie about the delusion of the aliens, which are actually demons. And I think he's also pointing out to us about the winepress, which is representative of the wrath of God. These are things that are all part of the last days. And I think it's going to tie it up for this one, and I'll move on to the next. Thank you.